Welcome to another ranking video. Today we are gonna look at the studio albums by Robert Wyatt. I won't be including these two, which are excellent if you know Robert Wyatt and don't know these two releases. You really should check them out. This one is BBC Sessions 72 and 74 and three newer songs done 2002. Two of them features Hugh Chopper on bass. If you like Robert Wyatt and Soft Machine, this is truly a must. I didn't think this was such a fantastic album before I bought it and heard it, so I highly recommend any fan to check it out. Also, this one it's one of the few concerts Robert Wyatt did. This is straight after he released his proper debut album Rock Bottom, and there are many great guest musicians: Mike Oldfield, Fred Frith, Nick Mason, Laurie Allen from Gong, Dave Stewart from Hatfield and the North, and National Health, Hugh Chopper from Soft Machine, and it's also highly recommended for fans. Well, at the bottom I place this For the Ghosts Within. This is probably the last album we'll ever see released. Maybe they'll release some archival stuff. I sure hope so. This is more standard jazz, folk, world music maybe. Some really good songs, but it is a very adult-oriented, soft kind of album. Of course, if you are a fan of Robert Wyatt, you know there are exceptional songs on this one. But sadly, it is at the bottom. They do some covers of Round Midnight by Monk, and they also perform Lush Life. You get the fantastic song Marianne, written by Robert Wyatt. I think that one is on an earlier album. And you also get a very calm version of At Last I Am Free, which was a chic cover song, and Robert first did his version in 1980-81. Second, I don't dare call it worst, but yes, my second least played, enjoyed Robert Wyatt studio solo album. It is Cuckoo Land from 2003, and it's also a very good album. It is a little long. I think it lasts like maybe 78 minutes or so. He did index it in two parts with 30 seconds with silence. I bet the LP is a standard 2 LP version, I would assume, because there's a lot of songs, and each time I play this I notice something new, and something suddenly becomes very good. Things I previously maybe didn't enjoy that much. But highlights worth mentioning is Cuckoo Madame, for Foreign Accents. Mr. E is a good song. Beware is a good song. Brian the Fox is a fantastic song, a good song, yes. So I feel terrible placing this as his second so-called worst album. I could have placed this higher. This was really tough. I had to scramble my mind, but many people's bottom. The true debut album of Robert Wyatt, The End of an Era, where he performs everything except a couple of instruments. He gets a couple of players called Elton Dean and Mark Charrig and Neville Whitehead and Mark Elledge, David Sinclair, Cyril Ayers, and some of these were on some Soft Machine albums. And the funny thing is, the record company thought they were getting something similar to Moon in June, maybe his most famous solo song, which is on Soft Machine 3rd. But this album, there are some really strong things on it. I love the ending, which is just Robert Wyatt's cover version of Gil Evans' Las Vegas Tango, which also opens it, but I prefer the ending version, 11 minutes. And in between there are a lot of avant-garde, there are some repetitive drum patterns coming and going. It's hard to get into as a whole, and it's also hard to listen to all the way through. I usually just put on the last 2-3 tracks maybe, and it works for me. As a whole, it is a tough listen. Probably why everybody plays it at the bottom. Not sure if I should include this or not, but it is seen as in late years it has been viewed as an album, even if all the songs were released on some EPs. Nothing Can Stop Us. Which was his return in 1982. These songs were recorded in 1980, 1981, and maybe 1982. Released 82. Like the music you're hearing, the Animals film, I'm not ranking that one. I love that one. But yes, this album, great songs on this is Born Again Crétin, At Last I Am Free, Que Manera. If I listen to that tune, it is stuck in my head all day long. Grass is a fantastic tune, and most of these songs were not written by Wyatt. Grass was written by Ivor Cutler. And you get other great songs like Strange Fruit and Arauku. And it ends with 2 songs not by Robert Wyatt himself, weirdly enough. Well, next, Comic Opera, his last proper solo album. The other one is released under Wyatt and 2 others. And it is a great album. I enjoyed it the first time I heard it when it was released, and it kind of grew. Every song is good, but I could pick out A Beautiful Peace, A Beautiful War, and The Insane Out of the Blue. This is so untypically Robert Wyatt. It's like the Animals film maybe. It's not avant-garde, but very. It's like he's doing an anti-Robert Wyatt song, something like that. And also, Comic Opera is, in fact, a good place to start, because it is one of his last, so you could go the other way. Next, we have Ruth is Stranger Than Fiction, than Richard, which is a pun on Truth is Stranger Than Fiction. This is his 3rd solo album. Many things they don't count The End of an Era, sadly, and it got a stellar. It features a stellar lineup. Fred Frith is guesting on it, We have Laurie Allen from Gong guesting on it, Bill McCormick from Matching Mole, Gary Widow, who also did a lot of stuff with Robert Wyatt, also under the name Symbiosis and a four-lettered word, the last names of every player. Also John Greaves from Henry Cow is on here, and it's a very good album. Sometimes I struggle with the first side, but the tune 5 Black Notes and One White Note is very good. The Muddy Mouse thing, not for beginners. But the second side has some fantastic songs like Sonia and also Team Spirits. Team Spirits, Sonia and 5 Black Notes, masterpieces. A shame I couldn't place this one higher as well, really. It's a good album. Well worth getting into. Next we have Dundestan, released originally in 1991. This is the 1998 remix, and they altered the track list. This is the original CD pressing, and it's a very good album. When I play the original version, I kind of love it all. When I put on the remixed version, well, some of the songs do sound a little better, but the track listing don't work for me. But I was used to the original tracking list. Then came this, and he placed the title tune Dundestan as song number 3. Well, on this one, it ends it all like a fun little, I don't know, yeah, it works so much better, this tracking list. This way, I enjoy the entire album. If it is this one, I nearly hate Dundestan plays as track 3, and I don't know, maybe I need to listen to this more, but the original, I enjoy every song on it. And yes, I'm adding the 2 albums he did under the name Matching Mole with his friends. I already mentioned the bass player. We'll go through it quickly. The band was in the beginning Dave McRee, Robert Wyatt, Phil Miller, and yes, Bill McCormick, which also plays on other Robert Wyatt releases. And they have Domino on guest synth. It is produced by Robert Fripp, and it's very diverse, and it is also in a way a very good companion piece to Soft Machine 3rd and 4th. I think it explores a lot of similar themes, ground, but this is of course in the song format, not the freeform Soft Machine format. Some of it is really jazzy, and some of it is really laid back. Some of it is just plain weird. I don't think I have to mention any songs because I enjoy the entire original album. But God Song, I have to mention. And the entire march he did on this album, only 8 minutes, but there are live versions that last longer. This is the 2 CD edition, and I can highly recommend it. There is a lot of bonus on this edition, released on Esoteric, Cherry Red, 2012. It has an entire disc, and it's 25 minutes with pristine sounding BBC recordings, and there is let's see, 20 minutes studio outtakes and different versions. Take 1 by the opening, take 4 of Smoke Signal, Take 8 of Fleury Fidget, and an unreleased song called Mutter. It's fantastic. I even found out the Japanese version of this, or the debut, even adds one more song. So next, I was thinking hard, long and hard, excuse the pun, which matching mole deserved to be higher. And I came to the conclusion, the debut, because on this one we have David Sinclair on keyboards, and he quit on Little Red Record. It was Dave McRae who took over. What to say about this album? I think most people who just enjoy the first 3 Soft Machine albums and maybe Rock Bottom, well, this is for you if you don't already know it. All of the original album is fantastic. It's not all that jazzy and freeformy. There are more song structures on this one, even if there are song structures on Little Red Record. Old Caroline is a classic, Instant Pussy is good, and the live versions of that one, fantastic. Bonus tracks here, you get 2 single versions, and you get part of the dance jam, 21 minutes, and it's fantastic. You get take 2 of Signed Curtain, and you get a version of Memories written by Hugh Chopper and played in early Soft Machine at 11 minutes. And it's great, it's fantastic. You get 2 more outtakes, part of the dance take 1 and a tune called Horse. And then you get 25 minutes with more superb sounding BBC recordings. A long medley March It Is, Instant Pussy, Smoke Signals at 20 minutes, and a 10 minutes Immediate Kitten, which is a extended Instant Pussy. Fantastic album. Highly, if you don't know these editions, 2 discs edition, I highly urge you to go check it out. What's next? Yes, it's Sleep. Why is this so high up in your ranking, you may ask? I could have asked myself the same questions 10 years ago, but every time, I don't play this every day, I don't play it every month, but each time I put it on, it's just fantastic. It lifts my spirits, and I feel like, you know, at one with the universe or something stupid. And we got some excellent musicians on this one. It was recorded at Paul Weller's studio. Paul Weller from the Jam and Style Council. All songs are written by Robert Wyatt and his wife Alfreda Benge, which did all the lyrics, as nearly always. Robert have written a couple of lyrics himself, but it features Paul Weller, it features Brian Eno, even on vocals on the opening, Heaps of Sheep, which is a very good album. Every song is great. Marianne Was a Friend, Alien, Blues in Bob Minor, A Sunday in Madrid, The Whole Point of No Return. Actually, that one is written by Weller. There's one song I can live without, and it is the hit from this album, Free Will and Testament. Sorry, Robert, I could live without that tune, but this album is very long, so me skipping it feels like a complete album anyway. What to say? It's not prog, it's not Soft Machine, it's not freeform. It's alternative rock in a way. He explores a lot of things. I would highly recommend this album. To me, this is a 10 out of 10. Well, next. Old Rotten Hat. This is a later version just called Mid-80s, which adds up Work in Progress EP and a couple of other songs. And all of these bonus tracks are fantastic. That's the reason I bought it. But yes, Old Rotten Hat, again, It's a masterpiece. It's a full night. This one also took me a couple of listens to just to touch and feel the sound. Some might not approve of the sound quality, but remember it was recorded at home, and Robert on every instrument, at least nearly every instrument, I think every instrument. Songs worth mentioning, well, to be honest, every song, but Speechless is good, The Age of Self is good, and the ending song, how to pronounce it, Gardadeda, a long fantastic tune which a band called Hood sampled. They called it The Lost You. Hood, The Lost You. It's a fun listen if you know the song by Wyatt or the Hood song, vice versa. And you also get a bonus track, Alfie and Robert Sails Off Into the Sunset, which I read was only on the first pressing of Work in Progress EP from '84. And Old Rotten Hat was released in '85. Again, 10 out of 10. 10 out of 10. And of course, as any true scholar of Robert Wyatt or Soft Machine, you can't miss this album. And to be honest, I feel a little sorry for people who don't enjoy it. It's an album I can't play it every day. You know, I can't. It's an album I play on special occasions. This was the first cover art for it, and then it changed in '97 to this, probably due to the CD age and all of that. And what a stellar album, and what a stellar lineup. You get Mike Oldfield on it, you get Richard Sinclair, you get Fred Frith, you get Ivor Cutler, you get Laurie Allen, you get Gary Window, you get Hugh Hopper. Yeah. And I often used to say start with side B, that is Alfie and Little Red Robin Hood hit the road, and then play side A. And I used to do that. I'm not sure to get into it maybe, because there was something, but not like Soft Machine and not like the Robert Wyatt songs or album that I knew back then. So if you're new to Robert Wyatt, I say start with the last 3 songs and then play the 3 first songs. May sound confusion. Yeah, but a 10 out of 10. And it is also an album to grow to or grow with. Like I mentioned with Sleep and Old Rotten Hat. Every song is good, everything, every note. He carefully planned it while he was in hospital, because he fell down from many floors and he lost his legs. So he tells the story about it. I think 6 months he sits and composes the music in his head in hospital while being treated and being healed, and he just gathers a band and they do it. And again, I will refer to, if you are a fan of rock bottom, this should whet your appetite some more. I know the sound quality on the last 3 or 4 songs are not that good, but you get a good mixture of early Soft Machine, rock bottom. You even get a great version of I'm a Believer, and you get a couple of Hatfield and the North and some Matching Mold songs. Check it out. And also this one, because it got the BBC sessions. The '74 one, you get only Robert Wyatt on the piano and vocals, where he performs 3 songs from Rock Bottom and I'm a Believer, I guess. And the '72 session, he performs God Song and Follow the Roll and 2 more songs. along with Francis Monkman on these, and these are interesting versions. And I mentioned, yeah, two songs with Huge Hopper and a completely new one. So this is also stellar. I would highly recommend this if you are into Robert Wyatt and you don't know the archival ones. Solar Flares Burn for You. I won't rate it, but if you like rock bottom, you gotta check this and also this one out. I'm still waiting for EPs, and I also want the original LP of Animal Film. I got a short break on a 12-inch, and that one is very good, but way more laid back and kind of homespun. An EP, 20 minutes. And the Work in Progress EP 2 is also very good. Rome 81 is a great experiment. I wish to find it or buy it as soon as possible. I think that's about it. Gonna do a last check here just to make sure. Hang on 3 seconds. Other missing are, yeah, of course I need Fixture Sport by Nick Mason. Robert Wyatt does all the vocals. I need the 2 albums by Michael Mantler, Hapless Child and Silence from 76 and 77. They could just as easily been released as Robert Wyatt. and I'm getting into those and I like them. And I also missed the complete version of Robert Wyatt 68. The demos he did, Moon and June, which I have on the Soft Machine CD backwards, and here they add a demo of Rivik Melodies and 2 other short songs. It sounds interesting. If I can find it, I hope I will find it, I'll buy it. Yes, thank you. It was a long video, I'm sorry. Have a nice day.